Hello, bud.
Hi, mate. How you doing? Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. I'm having technical issues at the moment,
Oh, okay.
and for whatever reason, the stream isn't working. Uh,
Uh,
yet, yet it says it is.
yeah, I see that. How do you know? Oh, you've been on Facebook, have you?
I haven't been on Facebook, but I'm watching YouTube, and there's just nothing there,
Hmm.
which is kind of weird.
That is strange. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
are you on Facebook?
I do have a Facebook account. Yeah, I do have a Facebook account. Shall I try and get on? What will I look for?
Actions to Wealth, I think.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me bring this over here. Facebook.
You can't see us on YouTube, can you?
I haven't looked on YouTube.
Oh,
Um.
okay. We are on Facebook. That's interesting.
Oh, are we live on Facebook?
We are live on Facebook.
Okay, so it's just YouTube that we've got a bit of an issue with, is it?
So it would appear. Are you able to look at YouTube?
Let me have a look.
Because my YouTube's telling me we're not live. I'm just wondering if I got the right stream. It says we've got people waiting, so I'm just refreshing the page to see what's going down. I'm looking at the
Okay.
gold chart. Man,
Oh no, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's so
ANZ
crazy.
should be able to buy Tasmania shortly.
Yeah. It's just astonishing. The It looks like the hedge between gold and the treasuries as well has been a factor. So there seems to be quite a lot of money going into gold at the same time while buying the treasury. So there's it's almost like a hedge against the real yield that people are taking on there. But equities actually themselves have been fairly solid. You know, they're nicely pushing higher. And ISM numbers yesterday or day before, was it? It was they seem to have played a bit of an impact, but you can see that people are still very nervous. You know, there's a lot of protection going on here with buying gold as well as
Yet interestingly, from what I'm seeing in the currency markets, we are definitely risk on today.
yes, yeah. Well, there's no doubt that we are risk on. Um, And I'm wondering, what's the idea with this gold trade? Because we seem to be risk on while still covering, because there is a lot of
Yeah,
covering going on. I'm just
interesting.
trying to get into Facebook now.
I'm going to place this trade before it actually gets triggered,
Yeah, you
which
go for it,
is
mate. I'm
pretty
in
close to
Facebook
doing that.
now.
We are live on YouTube now and Facebook by the look of it.
Oh, great.
So
Okay. All right.
apologies, guys, for the delay. I don't know what caused it, but we now appear to be okay. So here's the breakout trade parameters. We're entering at one. This is the hourly chart. No, it's not the hourly chart. Let me go to the hourly chart. And we will enter at the high of the last three bars, which is there. 130.97 will be our entry. My goodness, we appear to have an ad on our YouTube channel. That's interesting. Can you see that?
I can't. Let me just get on the YouTube channel. So I've got a bit of management going on here.
Oh, sorry. You stick with that then.
That's okay. I'll hop on as well.
130.97. And the stop loss will be underneath that same bar, right? These are the new rules. We're trading the bar, which is the high of the range, and we're trading the bar, which is the low of the range of the last three. Okay, I'll explain that just a little bit further. So the stop loss will be 130. Oh, nearly got caught. 130, 80. Well, settle down. 30, 88. So it's a very small range we're trading. Okay, and we will need to take profit at either 1/3 of the risk, which would be only 3 pips in this case, wow, or the nearest resistance level, which is probably there, which is kind of one and the same thing. I'm going to put our take profit at 4 pips, which will be 130. What was the level? 130.97. So 131.01. And we'll remove half at that point and move our stops 4 pips from entry. This could be a very quick trade, this one. It may, well, haven't ended yet, but it may well be a very quick trade. So get ready to change that in need. As soon as we hit that level, you've got to take your first profit, right? These are the new rules. With any luck, it'll skip through it very quickly and we'll get a little bit more in the bank than we bargained for. But it's got to get there yet, of course. Very close to an entry here if not entered. And when it gets to that white line, which is 131.01, you need to take half the position off and move your stops 4 pips from entry, which would be 130.93. Okay, we are in the trade.
Nice, mate.
So,
oh, that was quick. Is that that pound dollar long, is it?
Yep. Pound dollar long, and stand by to take your profit, guys.
Yeah, the dollar's in all sorts of trouble, isn't it? Which is, one of the reasons that we are seeing gold. But yeah, just gold, just astonishing the moves in some of these precious metals. Gold, silver as well is easing up again. I'm seeing Ethereum's more flat, and Bitcoin looks like it is.
Okay, take your first profit, guys. I missed it. I'll wait for it again. That's how quick you've got to be with this. You've just got to take that when it surges. Okay, ready, steady. And that's what happens if you miss it. And when I do that, and it goes back to entry, I simply cancel the order. So I don't like missing TP1s. It's never a good thing.
So you've got to do that live, have you, mate? You can't set your parameters.
I can, but it's only like a 4 pip take profit.
Right.
So I didn't have time.
Yeah.
To be fair, this is how I used to trade manually. Everything manually.
Yeah. Oh, I like a bit of manual trading.
Now I have slipped below entry, which I said I wouldn't do. So I've got one more chance to take this TP, or I'm out. Yeah, that's how quick this can be, guys, on a very small candle. The rewards can be immense, but the chances of you getting them are lessened by many degrees. Okay, if you didn't take profit, guys, we have an issue now because we've let it slip, and that's why we have to take it. I'm going to close the trade. And no, now we're up there again. We might get another chance to take that profit if we're
Come
really
on,
lucky.
get up there. You can do it, Lassie.
Lassie?
Yeah.
Does that mean it's a female or it's a dog?
Well, the pound is a bit of a dog, to be fair.
It is. It's terrible. It can be a horrendous thing to trade at times.
Yeah.
Especially in, these tight circumstances. But it's good fun. It is good fun. Come on, you Wally. Get up there.
It's frozen in time, mate. There it goes. Go on. Little push. Give us a push. Yeah, we got some. Maybe the numbers out of the States later on. That might put some things on hold a little bit with the dollar today.
What numbers are they, mate?
We got ISM service, non-manufacturing, effectively. Okay. So we had the manufacturing a couple of days ago, which came in extremely positive. Also good numbers out of China overnight as well. So there's quite a lot, I guess, to like about global equities. That that they're in pretty good shape. Seeing the US equities just on another, well, I wouldn't call it a surge, but they're in pretty good shape as well. So everything looks pretty confident out there right now. Everybody's quite happy, I think.
Cool. All right, I'm going to close this, guys. If we get back to that entry level, we're very, very close to it. And because I missed that TP, is it going to give us a look or is it not? Should I light a firecracker under it or something? Shukri, buy some pounds. That should fix it.
Right, hold on. I better check some stuff out here.
Come along, little doggy.
Nothing worse than waiting for trades, is there?
It's crazy.
Oh, I mean, especially when
it's how I learn.
Yeah, it's awful when you don't even need much of a move as well.
And look, this is a rule I've just added on to my own experience. There you go. I'm out. I'm out of entry, guys.
Oh, you're out of entry. Okay.
If you took TP1, then you should be at -4 at the moment, right? The stop loss should be at -4 and you should have half off the table. So your exit point should be right about there. So you're pretty close to exit, which would be a break-even trade. Again, there you go. You should be out now at break-even. That was a non-event at the end of the day, but that, of course, is going to be the issue with small candles trading that way. You're going to get a lot of those break-even trades. With bigger candles, you'll be far better, but with those small candles, you're going to get a lot of break-even trades. And there's nothing wrong with that. They do, and I'll just show you what I've done so far with changing these parameters. It so far so good. So you may not be able to decipher what I've got there, but I've gone through the entire month of April, and this was when we were using the 1 hour trails, right? We're using a 1 hour trails, and that was our record for the month of April, 0.07 negative. Just using the no entry at the pivot, so not trading into the pivots, which is one of the parameters that I'm definitely going to add. We have improved that by 0.9 positive, so nearly 1% we've improved that by. But using the method that I just used, we've improved that by 6.55%. So the month of April would have been positive 5.85% using the method I've just shown you. So that's worth considering just on 1 month, evidence. I will continue and try to complete that as we go through this. Well, tomorrow I'll do another lot tomorrow, and see if that's still working out. It should be interesting for the next 2 weeks whether we can actually turn the. Remember that horror stretch that we had through May? If we can actually turn that around or reduce its impact, then I think we'll be in pretty good shape after just a couple of days of doing this. So I'm happy with it so far, mate. Let's see how that pans. Righto, non-event. Yours.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah. Well, actually, we entered a FTSE trade yesterday, which has just got stopped out, which is really one of the reasons that we make sure we go in nice and light. And it looks to me that we may be looking for a bit of a flip as well of a bit of a flip of sentiment. Let me just bring the screen over here. Now we do have the ISM non-manufacturing numbers out later. Now the FTSE holds above this trend line. It might be there actually. It looks like it is just from that reaction. If the FTSE gets through this area here, around about the 61.10, then really we should be looking at the longs. Not worrying too much about the short. Just going long and seeing what we can grab, because we look across the board, then we see the S&P is now moving to the upside, and right the way down, Nasdaq continues to make fresh highs as well. Just it's kind of like lurching forward. Looks like the Dow Jones as well. If we look at this on a daily chart, the Dow Jones is just on top of this level. So if the Dow Jones gets through that area, then really it looks like the next point. Yes, we'd have to get through the 27,600, but after that we got plenty of room to get back up to the 29,000 level on the Dow. So global equities are getting a bit of a boost. I listened overnight to Donald Trump's speech, and just talking about yeah.
I cannot believe what I heard come out of his mouth. That was dreadful.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if he's now completely lost the plot, or what, because he is just delusional, isn't he? I mean, he's just, as you say, some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is just so far away, or it appears to be so far away from reality, that it's very difficult to know really what's going on. And if we are looking at what's driving this market, then it appears to be it appears to be the liquidity story and the deal that could get done on Capitol Hill between the Democrats and the Republicans. But he is on a completely different page to some of the negotiators. The negotiators seem to be saying that there's some positive moves being made and there's some positive noises being made. Whereas Trump, he was kind of quite keen to attack some of those Democrats for wanting something completely different to what is being proposed. So I didn't hear anything that would suggest to me that liquidity is going to get pumped into the market or taken away, to be fair, one way or the other. But we did see a reaction, after Donald Trump had spoken. Really, we were down here. We started to move a little bit lower on the Dow, and I have been watching the Dow a bit more closely. But we started to move a little bit lower on the Dow. But then we started to move forward, and now we are back at those levels that we're testing. Now, whether we get through before the release of the ISM numbers, I don't know. But if we are focusing mainly on what's happening to global growth and the liquidity story, there's no reason really to be suggesting that the Dow is ready to come down yet. And the same with the FTSE. This is why it might be that we're flipping positions on some of these rather than looking for further downside at this particular stage. But I suspect if the liquidity story doesn't emerge, if we don't get that money, then we are looking for the shorts, and they might happen hard and fast and be difficult to trade. So there's no point really in looking lower. I think there's, we have to be looking now probably neutral to higher if we want to be completely safe. Maybe leave the money on the sidelines, but it is our job to try and get trades on and that's how we make our money. So I think we should be looking at higher, and it's just waiting for some of these to retrace to a comfortable level. Now with the FTSE, I said we need to get through that area there. But a retracement back now to test where we got stopped out at 60, 61, that would look like a buying area now. It doesn't appear that we are going lower, and it's probably worth taking. So I probably will put an order in. Maybe I'll go at 60, 40, and I'd like it a little bit lower. It really will depend on how we perceive the price action to be before the ISM number. Does the ISM actually give us an opportunity? The fact that we've got that hanging over us, give us an opportunity to wait, for a little bit later, or does the market just continue to edge forward because they're expecting a decent number from that particular data release anyway? Decent numbers really from China, or fairly solid numbers from China. And as I say, with the prospect of further liquidity to be added into this market, you have to look at it and think, well, global equities have got a pretty pretty decent chance of going higher right now. And if we look at the gold situation, which is just astonishing, what's going on with gold. Similar, you know, we had another move to the upside yesterday with gold, and we'll use the euro dollar as a proxy for the dollar index, but I'm sure you can check that a bit with a bit more detail for us later, mate. But looks like the dollar is continuing to weaken, you know, and the reason I'm using the euro dollar is that it makes up over 60% of the currencies that are used for the basket to make the dollar index. So it's the heaviest weighted of the pairs to make up the dollar index. So it's a pretty good barometer of what's going on there. But it looks
it
like
just
we're getting...
cannot catch a bid, can it? It's
no, not at all, mate. Not at
flailing.
all.
Absolutely
Yeah, it is, and I think that what the Fed have probably got now, they've got a bit of a concern because they probably don't want. I don't really understand exactly why, but I don't think they want gold to be going too far out of control here. So, you know, we know that a weaker dollar is going to be useful to the US economy in many respects, but there is a situation where it gets too weak, and you know, prices then start to inflate, which is the biggest issue. You know, if the prices start to inflate and get out of control, then the Fed are just going to go into an absolute tailspin. But people are continuing to buy treasuries, you know, and that's the interesting thing. Treasuries, the treasury yield is pushing lower and lower and lower to the point that they've just got no value whatsoever. And yet we are seeing them continue to be bid. And it appears that they are buying gold. You know, some of those traders are buying gold at the same time. So they're actually getting a genuine return on capital at least. So gold and treasury seem to be bid. The equities are also bid. And you have to say this is a very irregular situation because you can't really get a read on are we risk on or are we risk off? Because yes, we're risk on when it comes down if we just looked at one aspect of the picture, but there is a lot of protection going on at the same time, and that's got to be a concern for the market. You know, there seems to be almost a triple play going on. And that suggests that maybe there's some waiting, but liquidity doesn't get added. I think there's going to be a big problem with this market, and I wouldn't be surprised if we've got a problem coming, but it doesn't seem to be happening just yet, mate. So I think we can fairly comfortably suggest we are looking for the longs, and that means that back to the FTSE again. Let's wait for a bit of a retracement, see if the ISM number helps us out a little bit. If it breaks through, if the FTSE breaks through this area, I don't think we can trade it before ISM. If it comes down and gives us a shelf along around about the 60-40, then we can trade before ISM because at least it's on a structural point. But if it goes through before ISM might actually cause a retracement later in the picture, and then we can trade after it. But yeah, we're looking certainly for upside right now, mate. The picture does not seem to be for us going short at this stage. We seem to be in a little bit of an all-out buying frenzy, no matter what it is, which you have to say is worrying, isn't it? You know, if everybody goes long gold and something just tips it the other way, then there's going to be all sorts of problems. But I suppose. When you think about the gold play, I think there's a lot more concern out there than people being comfortable. So, what's going to drive it lower? I think it's one of those things.
Excellent question.
Should we just ride the train? Because that seems to be what's going on, doesn't it?
It's getting very lonely on this side of the boat. I've got to tell you.
Yeah.
Very lonely. But yeah, I can't jump over there because you know what happens as soon as you do.
Yes, yeah. Well, and this is I was out for my morning swim this morning, and I was kind of like while I was doing my strokes and battling the waves, I always kind of like have a little think about the markets. And the thing is, what we're always trying to do is get in front of the next wave. But while we're doing that, we're missing out on the current wave.
Yes.
But the problem with this current wave is that it's so high that that we know, when things get so high that they can come crashing down in a heartbeat. You don't know when they're going to break. Sorry to use the sea analogy, but maybe that's because I've been swimming. But the
Kind of.
yeah, it does kind of work. But and if we got into gold, a long time ago, probably before it hit the 2000, then fine. You can ride the wave and continue to do so. But there's no question that this particular phase is nervous. There's going to be a nervous move up here. We've got to try and play it. And maybe what we do is try and play the things that haven't moved quite as dramatically yet, i.e. the FTSE. The Dow for me is probably a bit too late. The Nasdaq's a bit too late. I think we could look at the DAX. I think that I'll always like the DAX as a potential buying opportunity. If we're going to be comparing European equities, then I think the DAX is a decent opportunity. But at least with the DAX, we've had a bit of a pullback and we're halfway back up again. So we could look at this. I hate the pattern, and that's some of the issue as well. Just dislike this immensely, but it's not patterns that make markets. Patterns give us the timing. But they don't make markets, and currently what we've got going on is just this buying frenzy. So if we're going to get involved in this, then we've got to choose something that is maybe going to get dragged up with the euphoria, get stops to break even, as soon as possible, and just leave things alone until we can figure out what's the next genuine wave going to be. And to kind of think about the next genuine wave, you're kind of having to think about reversals, aren't you? Like, reversing in gold, reversing in the dollar, reversing in the euro, reversing in equities. That's at some point going to come, but it's not looking like it's on the cards in the near
Not
term.
anytime soon, no.
No.
Well, yeah, look, in the currency world, it's not that bad, because we are seeing, and I'm looking at miners only, I'm not looking, although I now should look at the US dollar because it is getting ridiculous. I'm seeing the potential for those retracements to become reversals. So that's still there for me, and I'm happy with that. So I'm not without opportunities, I don't believe, but I still want to steer clear of the US dollar. That said, the Kiwi today, man, did you see the number that the Kiwi printed on the unemployment figures?
The Kiwi, no, I didn't, mate. No.
Amazing. The unemployment rate is 4%.
4%.
It was a 4 or 4.2. It was one or the other. 4%, I think it was.
Okay.
I'll just double check that. That's outstanding.
Yes, it is.
In this climate.
Yes,
absolutely
it is.
Unbelievable. Yeah, 4%.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Wow, indeed. The one thing that does surprise me is the Kiwi hasn't just exploded. It had a rally, and it's still inching up, but yeah.
Do you know what, mate? But this is the interesting thing, isn't it? Because we are seeing employment or unemployment growing across the board, across the globe, and things haven't gone in the opposite direction. And I guess the reason is because I was thinking about well that, and also when I think about global equities, and I'm thinking, that you would think that global equities would be in all sorts of trouble with the employment numbers, but if companies are cutting employment, that means they are saving money. And as long as their production doesn't go down significantly, in line with that, if you like, then of course they're actually still going to be able to hold some sort of value. What that does mean is certain industries are just going to go under. The travel industry is in all sorts of trouble. I heard that Virgin are filing for bankruptcy now in the States.
Wow.
And yeah, and
well, they went broke here and in Australia, and they've just sold to somebody else. I think it was from the States, actually, and now they've just dropped 3,000 staff today.
Yeah, they are. Well, yeah, and over in this country, I think Richard Branson said he's going to run out of money if he doesn't get something in the next month or so. So it does appear that that there are certain industries that will probably change forever and maybe even go under. And I think the travel sector is certainly one of them. 89% less passengers, domestic passengers on Virgin Atlantic airplanes. So that has changed significantly. Long haul looks like it's changed significantly. So some of those people that are losing their jobs are in industries which are just gone. But if they aren't making up a large cap in the likes of the Dow, the S&P, the FTSE, and the Nasdaq, then they're not going to drive them lower, because something like Microsoft, I suppose, can cut staff if they need to. I don't know if they're in that situation, but just as an example, they can cut staff, increase their margin, cut productivity to a degree, increase their margin, but not affect the equity price too badly. But I don't know. Earnings don't seem to be awful. They haven't been terrible. When you look through
I guess the digital space, no matter where you look, is probably as safe as it can, as there is.
Yes. Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Maybe medical, maybe
yes.
Outside of food production, outside that,
yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and the evidence shows that commodities as well. If you're a gold producer, then I'm pretty sure you're flying at the minute. In fact, I know you are, because I've looked through them. Yeah. The precious metals situation is going well as well, and that's what I mean about looking for the second phase. This phase that we're in is about losing certain leisure industries, or certainly certain stocks in the leisure industry, i.e. Virgin probably, and maybe some hotels, and gaining in market cap value of things like the precious metal space, and gaining in some of the tech stocks, as you say. Probably the food producers and some of those pharmaceuticals as well. But BP is a good example. They cut a load of staff, and I think they've missed estimates, but their shares were flying yesterday because they've just cut down a load of cost. And that's that's what losing jobs means for companies. It means cutting costs, and for the consumer or the person that's losing their job, is absolutely terrible. But companies won't necessarily suffer. Not a zero-sum game, that one, is it, mate?
Mate, absolutely not. I'm just having a look at. Are you done for a bit?
Yes.
I better have a look at a few charts, I suppose. And there's some questions in the box as well that I have to look in the chat room on YouTube that I'll have to address also. But I'm just having a look at. We spoke about the dromedary and the Bactrian yesterday, didn't we? I can't remember what currency pair we were talking about, but it certainly played out on the euro versus the US dollar, which is interesting because I haven't been trading it. My favorite go-to trading currency pair, and I've just been taking no notice of it. Look, I can't get away from seeing the potential for this to go down here. I just can't get away from it. I don't really understand the strength in the euro, but it's on fire. There's no question about that. And the retracement looks to be over, but really we haven't come back with a very strong move, have we? It's not like, okay, the buyers that were driving this up here have suddenly gone, okay, the retracement's done, let's go. That's not happened as far as I can tell. This little inch by inch thing, it gets me a little more on notice than does a very sharp move. What I'm really thinking here is we've had, and I'm looking 4-hour chart only, big bearish engulfing bar here. And I'm still waiting for a significant lower high. And if I see that, I think that's going to be my re-entry into trading against the dollar. And I'm going to be trading short against the dollar. Am I saying that? Am I actually, is those words coming out of my mouth? is the hard part to get your head around, because it's just flailing. It's got nothing going for it, absolutely nothing. But again, I've got to ignore really what we're seeing in front of our eyes in fundamental terms, and then go back and have a look at what the charts are actually telling me. And the charts are actually telling me that this still has the potential to reverse. Whilst ever that potential is there, and this bearish engulfing bar here, I know it's not fully, but again, if I get that lower high, overextended price, I've got to trade the pullback, just got to. So I'll be there if and when the time comes. What's October 18? Don't know if there's any significant date other than it's the date that I chose for this currency pair to go back to 113.60, which is where's the 113.60? Right, well, be bang on that level there, wouldn't it? Of course, 113.60, and I chose a confluence of some kind. I think it was probably this big number here. Is that October 18? No, that's 2021. I'm into the next year. Look, don't ask me to find it now, please, because it'll just take me too long. But there is a confluence there somewhere on the 18th of, what is it? October. October is the 10th month. 18th. I'm on a bloody monthly chart. No wonder I can't find it. My God. Eighteenth of October. Can I go that far? No, I can't. There we go. There's the 18th of October, and there is 113.60 or thereabouts. So there is a confluence of some kind, and I can't remember what it is. I'll do it overnight, and I'll show you what it is tomorrow. But I just haven't got the wherewithal to do it at the moment. Sorry. It's just a price and time comparison, Crystal, at the end of the day. By the way, we haven't said hello to everybody. My goodness, there's some things in the box as well. Hi, Chandru. You could hear us before. Wow. Okay. I wasn't seeing that. There was something weird going on. Sorry about all that. Man is right. Man is right. Just made 2026.75. Man. M-A-N. Man. That's from Helen. That's very good. Awesome. Hi, Alan. 89 cents. I like that. Just curious. Is it worth it? 4 pips. Look, Roy, it is worth it if you actually didn't get your pullback and you were trading it at this point right now, right? What makes it worth it? And the whole point of trading the way I trade is to be conservative and to get risk off the table as soon as you possibly can. This will not suit everybody. There's no question about that. And if it doesn't suit you, then you try something else. It's as simple as that. But my job has always been to create a business type scenario with my trading that keeps me safe as much as possible and reduces the stress level that I feel when I trade, because I'm old, right? At 63, I don't need to be waiting for price to get another 2 pips to get me safe in the market, or whatever the case may be. I want it to happen as soon as I get in there, right? So that's why I do what I do. I take profit as early as I can, as sensibly as I can, and then make myself safe in the market. Now, with your 4 pips, had it not come back, and I agree with you, it's a crazy little number, but if you get a genuine breakout, suddenly you're 40, 50 pips up here, you're 10 times risk. So that's kind of why I do it. If you come back this way, only 20 pips, you're out of the market at a loss. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So it's always capital preservation for me over what happens next. Capital preservation number 1, 2, and 3, and then I think about the rest. So yeah, I agree. 4 pips is a waste of time, but it does keep me safe. I don't want 4. I don't want. What do we have? A 12 pip candle. That's pretty crazy, but it's the way it works sometimes. FTSE trade, yes, no, that one. If you move the stop loss up, right? Yes, if I get TP1, Alan, the stop loss moves exactly the same amount that I took off at TP1 below entry. So if I take 4 pips of profit, which is extremely rare, then I'll, in particular on pound US dollar, in particular at the open of London session, but it did happen today. And sorry, I just got distracted. It did happen today, and you do have to move your stop loss. You've got to take half off the table or a little bit more if you want, and then move your stop loss the exact amount of pips that you took off at TP1, trailing behind your stop loss. Yep, TP1 has stopped out. Break-even trade, that's correct. In the US, Shukri's got some significant crypto news in the US show, which solves the question of Ash asking who are new guys entering cryptos. Plus, now it's easy for the Jeff generation. Nothing's easy for the Jeff generation, Shukri. It takes half an hour to get out of bed. Takes half an hour to, well, I won't go into other things that takes half an hour to do, but it
takes half an hour.
World. It takes half an hour. That's right. So I'm pleased that you found that. I'll be looking forward to hearing what it is in the US session. That'd be great.
No, I heard something interesting actually today about cryptos and the fact that they people are saying that while there's protection going on in the markets and people are buying things like gold, it seems to be a generational thing. The older generation buy gold and the younger generation buy crypto. So it's a interesting analogy.
Well, if we're talking physical, then I can understand that as well. Only old people can afford to buy gold, and
yeah.
And that's getting slowly out of reach as well for most of us. The other part is, of course, cryptos are very much a non-old person's, let's say, comfort zone because of a few reasons. One of them, not least of which, is they're unknown by most old people. And the other one is that you've got to use technology to actually get in the game. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Question from Alan, 5.8.5 is you're using 1%. Yes, absolutely. That's assuming 1% risked on all trades. Amazing. Donald Trump is going to be more 1,200 checks, more than likely. He'll probably make it even more just before the election. Amazing. Still, isn't it? They didn't want Yang's US dollar 1,000 a month, but happy with occasional pandemic 1.2. Yes, nothing ever ceases to amaze me, Crystal. ISM numbers are good. With which index would be best to take profit on DJI or S&P and NASDAQ and FTSE? Did you answer that, mate?
No, I didn't. But so, if ISM numbers are good, then the S&P should perform the best with manufacturing, but you could also lump the Dow into that particular one as well. We're looking at non-manufacturing, then the Nasdaq should be a bit of an outperformer, more so than the other stocks across the globe. We're really it's an American number, so it's going to be American equities that should do the best out of that.
Cool. Yeah, look, great point, Alan. There is no impact to New Zealand labour when it comes to tourism hit. That is funny. That's not what my family says they are in New Zealand. I can only assume, and it is an assumption. Look at the pound go now. What a shame. I can only assume that the government has kept the tourism industry alive by, and like all other governments have done, or most other governments have done, by supplementing wages and therefore keeping those people employed. That would be a guess, but I can't imagine any other scenario, because otherwise, as you correctly assume, why on earth would there be people still in that industry? Well, when I say people, most people. There'll be domestic tourism going on, of course, because they're pretty much COVID free, but that's like here, and we've got a little micro situation of that here in Tasmania. It's exactly the same thing. But I agree. I can assure you that there are not as many people employed in tourism today in Tasmania as there were 6 months ago. And that's not weather related. That's COVID-19 related, without question. So I really don't know why that, and that's what shocks me. That number is astounding, absolutely astounding. I don't get it. So hello everybody. Yes, hello. Got some Daily Wave Rider 1 hour Q. Can you offer thoughts? Got some Daily Wave Rider 1 hour questions. I'm not sure if that makes sense to me. It's either daily or it's 1 hour, but ask the daily question, Helen, by all means. Ash is all over that. So it'd take half an hour to set up a wallet rather than 2 weeks. Oh, yes, Shukri. Okay, then that might work. That might work. Getting many pips wrong here. Pips wrong, John. Okay, I'm still in it. You're still in the pound, John. Good on you. I made the 4 pips stop to entry and I'm still running in the pound breakout. I made a mistake and headed a bit higher. Sometimes mistakes are worth bottling, aren't they? Don't let it slip, mate. Don't let it slip. Just love it. Enjoy it. Look, I really need to have a look here. And look, again, this will be recorded, and this is why we're doing what we're doing. This is all about testing a strategy or creating a strategy. And now on this instance alone, and this is one instance, doesn't mean a thing in the scheme of things, where we were saved from going backwards, yes, but we were also denied going forwards. So you just look at that next time round when we do the revision and say, well, okay, how could we improve that? And if it improves this one, does it improve the other 643 behind it and 497 ahead of it? That's what you have to weigh up. One sunny day does not a summer make. It's pretty much that simple. But hey, if you get in on a winner, use it, enjoy it. So Helen, I need very, very quickly just to go around a couple of charts that we haven't even thought about doing yet. And then we will, if you've got it, if you could put that question in the chat, then Ash will have a look at it, I'm sure. Righto, so today, what did I do? Euro pound, as I said I would do, I have placed a short order underneath this bar here. And we have failed to close above the monthly pivot. We have failed to close above the bottom of that ascending channel. We've failed to close above the weekly pivot until, well, whilst ever that's the case, then I'm still bearish this, because we have had a break and a retest of all 3 of those things that I just mentioned without a close above them. So for that reason, and also the reason that we've got a genuine slingshot set up here, and we've got 1 shot over the bow, 2 shots over the bow, 3 shots over the bow, that'll do me. I'm ready to go. So that is the reason I have placed a short on euro pound on the daily chart. The entry level, if you're interested, is at 0.8985. I've got a stop loss of 62 pips, and I'm going to take profit number one at 26 pips, which was bang on DS2. I'm going to remove a third of the position at that point. TP2, I'll just think about whilst I'm taking a half hour to do what I normally do somewhere else, and probably looking at it down around here, somewhere around about the 88.50 mark, something like that for TP2, if we're fortunate enough to get in. The other trade that I took this morning, I think triggered. Yes, I think it's triggered. I'm not sure how it's traveling. Dollar yen, where are you? Show your face. Now, I said I wasn't trading the dollar, right? And if I'm proven correct in that analysis, then I'll put it back in the burner again. But I couldn't deny this. This is something that I do like to trade, and it happens rarely, I've got to say. Very, very rare that this comes up, where you get a key reversal bar. And to be honest, it should be black in nature, this bar, this one here, the daily bar 2 days ago. And then it would have been ideal if this was a white bar and an inside bar based on the key reversal. It was an inside bar, yes. It was black-bodied, which you know I hate doing. I hate trading short on a black-bodied candle or a red-bodied candle, but couldn't deny this bar here. So that's the reason that I have taken it short dollar yen. And I'm going to take profit fairly quickly as well if we get to weekly pivot. The entry level, if you're interested in following this one, is at 105.59. Actually, it was 105.60, I think. As always, I get slipped on IFS markets. Doesn't matter if the market's moving at 1 tick per hour. I get slipped into the market. Hate the bloody broker for that reason. And I'm sorry if anybody gets offended by that, but they just slip you in and slip you out of all sorts of things. That's why Fusion Markets is by far and away, and I've got no affiliation. I don't get any pay from any of these brokers, obviously not from IFS. Excellent execution all the time. And when you're trading on smaller time frame charts, you need excellent execution, particularly if you are taking those small first take profits, like 4 pips, guys. Which, anyway, won't go there. Take profit one is at 19 pips. I'm going to lose 34% or 1/3 of my position at that point. And as usual, I'll leave the rest open. What I'd really like to see happen is obviously to get to weekly pivot, then come back and test the daily and then go short, because that would be the nice part of the equation for me. So they're the 2 orders that I took this morning. EuroCAD. Am I still in EuroCAD? I don't think I am. EuroCAD. No, I'm not. Sadly, I'm not. This expired on me overnight. You'll remember that yesterday we had this in the market. We were trading this bar here. We were short underneath it with our stop loss above it, and it expired just before we got taken in. So I'm not in that trade. If you are, then just keep the parameters that I gave you. I think it's still a definite possibility to get to monthly pivot at least, and thereafter it does potentially look like a reversal. If it came back to the daily pivot now, it wouldn't surprise me at all as a nice retest of that confluence area and that horizontal level that I've got sitting there. So if I do get an opportunity, I'll probably look to trade that there. But if you're in the trade, you should be doing okay at the moment. I think that is all that I'm in. What I wanted to have a look at, Kiwi Swissy. That's what I wanted to have a look at. Where have you? I find it very, very difficult not to be biased long the Kiwi at the moment because of that number. It just, whether somebody's hit the wrong button or not, I don't know, but it really does look to me.
Yeah, right across the board, New Zealand seems to have handled things better than most.
Yeah, and you know, there's a whole lot of people in our organisation, and some of them are Kiwis, who have written it off, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I really don't know why.
Well, you'd think as well with commodity prices going where they're going,
We're
the
risk
likes
on
of
at the moment. The
yeah, yeah,
commodity prices,
absolutely,
as you
yeah,
say, the
yeah.
Kiwis just had an incredible number printed. Why on earth would we be bearish the Kiwi? Doesn't make sense.
Mm.
So, no, I'm not going to trade anything else against the dollar. What's weak? Yen and Swissy should be weak today, right? So let's talk about Kiwi yen. Too late, gone. Let's talk about Kiwi Swissy, which we were about to do. That's not gone. Well, I suppose it is in terms of, for now. Let's look at it in terms of the future.
The dollar really is in all sorts of trouble.
It's amazing, isn't it? Really amazing. Well, it's
Yeah.
not. I mean, it was expected. And, I was busting my boiler to get in the short. But it wouldn't come back to that trend line, bloody thing. It happens.
And that's the issue, isn't it? I mean, we might have a particular view, but if we don't have our timing mechanism, then we don't really have anything.
And, that's what we've been talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do we let it go? Do we jump in? There's a case for all sorts of things, and I guess we're in incredible times, aren't we? There will be few of these happen in your lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
If any. So I guess adapting to that is where we need to ask Shukri, right?
Yeah.
So yes, anyway, there's a whole lot of stuff going on that is a little bit unpalatable to me, but I've got to be honest. I've got to trade this long. I really do. This is Kiwi Swissy, and I'm just looking for an opportunity. Break and bounce off the daily pivot. That looks interesting. The trade line looks interesting. If this could pull back a little bit, maybe underneath this line here. I'm on a 30-minute chart. And we've got 4 minutes to go. Come on, get back under here. If it does, I'm going to place a long Kiwi Swiss. Now, I'll put my stop under there at around about the 60.50 mark. And the high of the day, here we go again, guys. It's only 4 pips. Bugger. But I won't trade through the high of the day without taking profit. So, I mean, you do what you like, but, rules are rules. And if I break my rules, I'm trading something else. So that's what I will do. That will be my criteria in 4 minutes. So Kiwi Swiss, that'll be my pick, mate. And we'll trade that in about 4 minutes' time if it does stay as it is now.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Daily Wave Rider, Helen, did you not want to go on with that? Oh, there we go. Sorry, I'll just scroll down and I see. Is the dollar CAD at another key big O level? Dollar CAD. Let's have a look at that. Righto.
Not quite.
So a
Close.
key level. You're looking at here, I suppose. Yeah. Let me go a little bit wider. What does he use? Daily charts or weekly charts for his big
I've
levels?
got mine on my daily. So I've got a 6th of August 2017 is where I've drawn a trend line from.
Does it coincide with 137?
Ooh, 137. No, 131.50. I've got.
Oh, you're going the other way. Okay. That doesn't work.
If we're looking for buying opportunities, I'm presuming. Yeah, about the 150, 150. 130, 150, sorry.
Show
Somewhere
me your
around
level,
there.
mate.
That's about right. Well, what you've got there is about right. 130, 164. Yeah, I mean, there's
got to get there pretty fast, haven't we?
We do. Which the way the dollar's going, there's every chance that could happen.
There's probably an option.
Yeah. As I say, it's going to
But
be
it's pretty close anyway.
we've really got to wait for what's going to happen next with the Fed. I just think they've got to do something. Um, I don't think they can. The dollar weakening isn't such a problem, but the pace that it's going, things could really spiral out of control. So I'm not sure whether they're going to be too keen on really increasing the stimulus. And certainly the market is flying off the back of that. It's not flying off the back of fundamentals. That's the that is a given. As much as the fundamentals are looking better, they don't quite relate right across the board to price. So I would have thought that the dollar will get some kind of boost at some point, and maybe if the dollar continues to weaken, it seems to be going past some key levels on some of these currencies. But the CAD might be an interesting one, particularly with any more news on the oil situation. If we are going to get a change in travel alone, just airline stocks alone will be probably be a massive hole in the balance sheet of any oil companies. But as I say, BP are one of those companies that have cut a lot of employment, and the reason for that is because they are losing a lot of money. So maybe it could be an oil story, but it would have to come down a little bit further before I'd be interested in buying. I don't think it's quite there yet, to my mind.
Not easy. It isn't easy, and the dollar, and that's why I've sacked it at the moment. And I know I'm trading dollar yen, but I just can't believe that it is not going to retrace. And
yeah, I'm with you.
And why it hasn't to this point, and that's what spooks me. And I know when it does, it won't happen slowly. It'll just go bang. And that's the concern. You won't have a chance to get out, I don't think. But it's
no. I agree. And I feel the same about these equities and the same about gold. And that really does give us, really sort of like two things that are going on. We either try and ride the wave, get in with tight stops, or we leave our money on the sidelines and wait for us to figure out what's going to happen next. So it's a tricky phase, this one, mate. Do you know that the other thing that I find quite tricky is that it's certainly traditionally this tends to be a bit of a selling season with some of these equities, and that has not yet transpired. And we're only on the 5th of August, but and Shukri tells us that the 12th is the date that we should start be looking for these shorts. But you've got to be sort of wondering whether there might be a time fairly soon that people lighten up on the current rally. Since March, it's just been out and out. It's just incredible risk on.
Now, I was going to trade this, right? Unbelievable. It didn't come back to where I wanted it to come back to, and to be honest, I wouldn't have traded it. But look at it going, amazing.
Yeah.
If it pulls back, then I may consider. It'll have to pull back to here, and then I'd place the same order that I would have placed anyway. Yeah, the only way I can now trade it if it takes out this high and comes back, then I'm trading bang into DR1. It becomes very, very difficult as well. And you've got to remember, of course, that at this point in time, we've already got 30 pips is nothing. It looks a bit longer than that, a bit more than that. But yeah, that was the one. I will stick with it. And if it does give me an opportunity, that's the one that I will trade. Okay. I'm not sure I've got anything else. Kiwi yen. It's already gone. Yeah. What about you, mate?
No, I haven't, mate. I was just going to say, the equities generally have kind of had a pretty good hour, pretty good first hour, but I think now we've got to wait for this ISM number. I don't think it would be wise for us to get into anything at this particular stage. Still seeing that there is a potential resistance point on the FTSE. So while we wait for the that to see if that resistance resistance point holds, we can't do a lot. It's just managed to get slightly above, but it's just retracing a little bit. So it's going to be ISM. That's what I'm going to wait for now. It's too big a deal really to trade into something which has already had a bit of a run. So pullbacks on these equities, and I think that we should have an opportunity. And it might be that we trade it before the ISM, but that means it's got to come back to a decent level.
Okay, looking forward to hearing Shukri's news in the US session about the way we old fellas, or me and my generation, can actually have a relaxing time getting into Bitcoins, not Bitcoins, but into cryptos. I'll just update the trades that we're still in. Pound Kiwi, you should have taken 2 lots of profit on this already, and you should be ready for a big retracement. And that retracement could go as far as the monthly pivot. I'll start looking to scale into this when we get to the monthly pivot. But it may well be that we'll get to the monthly pivot and probably even last month's monthly pivot before this looks to go again. If it does, look, who cares? We're in the money, but I'd like to get some more on the table now that we're out of risk. And I wouldn't mind putting a little bit more risk on that. Exactly the same on Pound Aussie, and that looks to be through its first level at the moment, may not be. In fact, it's now time to start looking for a trade. Let me have a look at the smaller time frames. Okay, so what I'll be looking for here is kind of setting up already. No, it isn't. Yeah, I need to see this break the trade line that we've got, what it's trying to do at the moment, and then consolidate at that level, then get back above the trade line, retest the confluence area, and look for that on any time frame. Even if you only want to trade it intraday, I think that's a reasonable trade to take. You've got an untested daily pivot here. And say you risked maybe 38 pips on this, you've got double that, nearly, not quite double that, getting to the daily pivot, and then leave something open for this to continue the trend that we've been in. Well, the potential reversal that we are in, let's put it that way. So Pound Kiwi, Pound Aussie, exactly the same. I think that's the only 2 that you guys should be in at the moment. Yes, Shukri, that's the plan, mate. That's the plan, and always was. I don't think, no, you guys are not in anything else. No, all good. I'm done.
Okay, mate. Me too.
So we'll be back in what, 4 hours and 49 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, 3 hours.
Oh yes, we are in Dolly Yen. I don't know if all you guys are in Dolly Yen. Oh, you should be, I suppose. Yep. You're about 5 or 6 pips out of the money at the moment. So hopefully we'll get to that weekly pivot and TP1 before too long. That would be good. Cheers, mate. Cheers, Alan. What did you say? 3 hours?
3 hours, isn't it? Yeah.
No.
Oh gosh, no! I'm looking at MC4's time.
You'll be
5 hours.
Yep, 4 hours and 48 minutes from now.
What you said.
Yeah, what he said. That's right. All right, have a good break, and I'm sure I'm having for dinner, but it'll include 1, maybe 2 white wines.
Oh, very nice.
See you later, guys. Catch you tomorrow, those of you who we won't see tonight.
Yep, see you tomorrow at 5 to 8.
That's a date. Don't be late.